Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just want to give my own little spin on these Tachikaze cards that were just revealed a couple of days ago. And to get started, we are going to start with Regiment Dragon Regiodon. Auto, Vanguard / Rearguard. When it attacks, you put the top card of your deck face down as an equipped gauge for one of your rear guards. Simple enough. And Auto. When retired from Rearguard by your card's ability, call up to one card from this unit's equipped gauge to your Rearguard circle. You may put the top card of your deck face down as an equipped gauge for that unit. This ability may only be used by a card with the same name once per turn. So it's a hard once per turn. My opinion of this card by far is that shouldn't be too difficult because you have cards like, Death Rex. You can use that. You have cards like Mega Rex that can actually retire something. And if you hit, in terms of Sonic Noah, you should be able to get an extra attack. I think it's fine. But before I move on, this is literally a Grade 2 version of a card that was released earlier called Blue Sprint. So just in case you don't get this one, you have the other one to fall back on. It's fine. Next we have Zealous Horn Dragon Delofo Pyro. And this guy has Auto, Vanguard, and Rearguard when placed from hand. Cost, Counterblast 1, draw a card, and call a card from your hand to Rearguard circle. You may put the top card of your deck as an equipped gauge for that unit. And his other skill is Auto, Rearguard, when placed from equipped gauge, sorry. This unit gets power plus 10k until end of the turn. So it's safe to say that depending on where you call this guy from, one of these skills will activate. Okay, that's totally fine. We'll come back to him later, because I have something to say about this guy. And now we have the VR Emperor Dragon Gaia Emperor. Everyone rejoice, he's returned. Okay, so continuous Vanguard. During your turn, all of your rear guards with an equipped gauge get 5,000 power. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, power plus 10,000 instead of 5,000. Okay, so it shouldn't be that hard to actually give your units gauge, honestly, because of all the support that we've gotten from the past and now. Depending on what happens first, if you go to your grade 3 first before your opponent, you're going to be hitting for really big numbers. Also, a rear guard in the back row can actually make Gaia hit for big numbers, like grade 1, whatever. Things like that. That is fine. Now, for its other skill, Auto Vanguard. Counterblast 1 and retire a rear guard. This unit gets the original power of that retired unit for this cost until the end of the battle. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets the original critical as well. Okay. So this is a little bit of a nod from back then in the G era where he would get a critical where something happened. I think... Okay, let's just go to the pros. The pros of this so far are that, one, with his first skill, you can hit for, really high numbers like I said before. Going for its second skill, the combo is that you either get the blue sprint or the pyro. You retire the pyro after you attack with the pyro or the blue sprint, whatever you attacked with. Then the pyro or the blue sprint skill will activate. You choose a card from the equip gauge and superior call for the extra attack. That's how it works. And plus, also, the thing about it is, even if you do call a trigger unit from the soul, it could actually still hit because of Gaia's skill. Because you're probably going to be getting 10k or 15k, and you're probably going to call it to an XL circle. So it kind of does, it's not all that great. You still don't want to put a trigger in the gauge. But hey, at least you can still hit with it. If your opponent doesn't really get lucky with a defensive trigger at all or anything like that. But still, that's good. That's a couple of the pros, the cons. For one, it doesn't generate gauge. And by doing so, it just relies on his rear guards to do it for it. Which I find a little bit strange. Because so far, the past VRs, right, they've actually generated gauge for the clan itself. It's not really doing anything to, help with the issue. Like I said before, you still do not want to gauge a trigger. And you're still blindly gauging, even though you're still, relying on your rear guards to do it for you. That's something I kind of don't like. And the fact that it's kind of like reliable on his rear guards, it might be a little bit susceptible to like some type of board wipe or something. Like Kagero or, Narukami. Or anything that just boards wipes. Overall, I want to say that it's good, but it's lacking something. And like I said about its, blindly gauging, going right back to the grade 2, what's his name? The Lofo Pyro. You're not really guaranteeing anything about it being in the soul. I mean, not in the soul, in the gauge. Remember, like, to use its skill, it has to be in that gauge, the second part of its skill. And this is probably the only time I'm going to actually make the comparison. But if you actually think about Anger Blader can actually turn Pyro to gauge. First, you call it from his hand, activate his first skill. And if your Vanguard happens to be Anger Blader, turn him into the gauge, then use another unit to retire that unit is, that unit, whatever is under. Then superior call, if you're using the blue sprint or the Regiodon, activate their skills, bring out Delofo Pyro, then it activates the second skill. Gaia can't necessarily do that. And like I said, it's the only time I'm going to make that comparison. Like I said, overall, I think Gaia is okay. A lot of people on Facebook are kind of disappointed with him. And I think the reason why they are disappointed with him because they're actually comparing it to Anger Blader to get how powerful that he was. He was powerful, like, I want to say stronger than Gaia in my opinion, but of course you're going to be disappointed if you actually compare the two. I think he's fine. He's just a little iffy with me. But overall, let's see what he can do with a little bit of testing. So that was my video. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your opinions in the comment section, and we'll probably talk about it if you ever do. And I'll see you during my next video.